Welcome to This Week in Washington for Friday, March the 22nd, 2013. This week, Congress finally passed a continuing resolution that was overdue, that in part straightens out some of the difficulties it created when it passed the sequester legislation last year. In the FTA and DOT programs, many of the shortcomings that were caused by the sequester have been fixed. In other parts of the government, the same is true. I urge you to look for details in the upcoming issue of Fastmail, where we'll be discussing these things in detail. So this gets us through this hurdle, but this week, new hurdles have also been identified. Congressman Ryan, the chairman of the House Budget Committee, introduced a budget for the next federal fiscal year, loaded with reductions in federal spending across the board in both domestic discretionary programs and in entitlements. For us, we're very concerned that his budget projects that the transit programs, and the highway programs for that matter, will have to get by based upon the revenue that is in the highway and transit trust funds. Both those trust funds, as you know, have been in deficit for the last several years, and to live within those means would mean a draconian reduction in investments in the highway and transit community. So we can expect that this will be another long, drawn-out struggle in the year ahead. This budget projection also makes it very difficult to understand how we could get a reauthorization that would make any sense at all if, in fact, the House maintains its position that there can be no new revenue for the transportation sector or in other ways that would benefit the highway and transit trust funds. This will be part of an ongoing effort by us to address, and one in which we hope to continue to mobilize support from our members and those who use their services in the year ahead. As you know, based on our discussions in Tampa, we talked about different ways we could communicate the message of community and public transit to key members of Congress and to communities in general. We formulated a start on that strategy, which I like to call Why Transit Matters, to educate people about the importance of transportation in their communities and what it means to them. It's easy for us to see that in some respects, as all of you noted, when we discuss the important role that community and public transportation play in the health care of thousands and thousands of individuals across the country, regardless of where they live. We think there are similar ways that the transportation systems benefit people who are going back to work. And as we know, people going back to work are going there being paid a little bit less than when they left their last jobs. Consequently, affordable transit is an important element in their individual economic success. So we want to bring that discussion forward at Expo with our delegates and with you to further talk about ways that we can convince people why transit matters. The answers that we received on these questions from our session in Tampa were all very good and help us to scale our vision of what these discussions should be in a way that makes sense for anybody who wants to present them. It's my hope that when we blend these together with our delegates, we'll have a platform to campaign on in the year ahead that proves why transit matters. And there's something in what transit does that is meaningful and important to everyone. That's going to be our goal and challenge, and we're looking forward to it. If you've been checking around on our website, you've noticed a few other things relative to Expo that have shown up. You'll notice that Lieutenant General Honore is going to appear and be our keynote speaker this year. This is the first time, I think, that we've had a lieutenant general ever address our expo, and I can't think of a more appropriate choice since the general was really in charge of much of the federal response during the Katrina crisis. Since we want to highlight safety, security, and preparedness as part of the things that community and public transit are all about, he's a really great spokesperson to bring in at this time to remind people of the important role that our members play in that field as well. Another one of the things that's a little different in Expo this year is you may have noticed that we've created a new home on the web for our rodeo. And this year we're including an expanded vehicle use by including smaller vehicles at the rodeo, since many of our members use smaller vehicles as part of their regular service. We think this will give us an opportunity to expand the numbers of participants that come to the rodeo, and also give us a chance to remind people, based on the whole rodeo experience, that our industry values safety and conducts a national identification issue, or rodeo, to make sure that people understand that safety and good driving are really at the heart of community and public transit. So I hope you'll be looking at that and helping us and our rodeo team find people to come and participate actively in this year's event. Speaking of Expo, I did have some additional news this week that was an early surprise from Charlie Dixon in particular, that being that our host hotel at Expo, the Hyatt, is already sold out. So we're really feeling good about that, and I would hope that this will lead us to a good series of upcoming pieces of news about other hotels that are on our Expo list. So we're looking forward and beginning to look forward to putting together the final pieces of what we do here before we get to Expo. Speaking of Charlie Dixon, I hope that some of you had a chance to look at the video I sent around yesterday concerning our program with the follow-up to CTAP. As you know, HHS developed an offshoot of the CTAP program that we've done for many years to help identify the participation of seniors and people with disabilities in the transportation planning and development process. We're doing a series of efforts to take a look at this, including making available some small grants around the country to help communities identify these activities that will benefit seniors and people with disabilities. The video kind of outlines what the program's all about and how we envision it working. I think that I want to take this opportunity to say that it will be one of my continuing efforts this year to provide interviews like the one we did with Charlie about some of our other activities here. Because even though we meet and communicate often, some of the activities that go on from day to day that some of us here are involved with don't always make it to the board table or to discussions with you. So I'm hopeful this will be a new way that we can transmit more information about specific activities that have an impact on what CTAA is doing across the country and for our members. So, having said that, I'm going to close for now. I hope that you have a good weekend. And if you have any questions for me, or you've heard something that you think it would be good that I knew, please give me a call or drop me a note. I'm always open to hearing from you. So, thanks, and that's all I have for now, and I'll be in touch soon. Bye.